So as we saw in the Excel, there are 5 tasks that we discuss in BA planning area, which is the approach, stakeholder engagement, governance, information management, and performance improvements. So we would discuss each one of them. The first one being the term called Plan BA approach. So would anybody tell me what is this term called approach? What do you understand by the term?
It is about how you are going to handle your BA activities. So what task you are planning to handle under BA business analysis activities?
See, essentially when we say we are approaching the problem in a particular way, it means it's basically a way to do things. Okay. So now, how can you do BA differently?
I'm thinking like a systematic way of getting a task done.
Correct. That's more of a plan, I would say. Approach is essentially a way to achieve something. Like your approach could be, like suppose I'll take a very simple thing. A lot of people ask me how to complete CBAP. And there are 2 popular approaches that I see. So 2 popular approaches to get CBAP. So what are the 2 popular approaches? There is one popular approach, which is the question bank approach. Okay. So in this question bank approach, there are a lot of people who believe that if you do lots of questions, so do lots of questions, and that will make you pass CBAP. This is a very popular thing that I see with a lot of training companies as well, where there is a lot of emphasis on just getting the questions and answers. Okay. The approach I generally recommend to most of my students is something different. I say, have
that approach, question bank approach, does it work? Have you seen it work before?
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
But there are people who recommend that approach. I have seen that. A lot of people come to me as well. And in fact, there is another approach which is very illegal. And sometimes I get a request, Ellen, can you take the test for me? Okay.
That would be nice, really.
Okay. So I actually get a request saying, sometimes I'll get a strange request from somebody saying, Ellen, I cannot take the test, but can you take the test for me? Because anyway, you have read BABOK so many times and it will be easy for you. So I said, no, that is something which is ruled out because this is illegal. So obviously I won't take it. But these 2 are legal approaches. Okay. And in my view, this is a better approach because if your concepts are clear, it's generally easier for you to do well. You don't have to remember a question, remember an answer. It's not required. So similarly, when we talk about BA, please remember many times BABOK could actually translate BA to RA. Okay, that is because BABOK is written primarily for requirements analysts. So when they say plan BA approach, they essentially mean plan requirements analysis approach. That's what they're trying to indicate. So if you see here, so mostly people have 2 approaches which has been recommended by BABOK as well, and it has been observed that a lot of projects follow that approach. So we call it as waterfall and agile. Okay. How many of you have worked in waterfall based projects?
Sir, one question please. What's the difference between approach and methodology?
Okay. Good question. Let me write it down here. A proven approach is called methodology. Is a methodology. Okay, that means you have used this approach many times and it has worked for you. Then we can call it as a methodology. And mostly methodology is more detailed than approach. Methodology is usually more detailed than approach. Okay, so typically a methodology would tell you how to do things, and also some people call it as method. People use different names. So they'll say using Scrum method, because Scrum is far more detailed. It tells you you must have a product backlog, you must have a daily sprint, you must have a retrospective. It'll tell you a lot of things which an approach may not tell you. An approach will tell, oh, okay, we can do things in a waterfall way or in an agile way. Okay, so anyone who has worked in waterfall projects, maybe Sujata might have worked.
Yes, I have worked.
Oh, okay, so what was your experience with these waterfall projects?
First of all, they are very lengthy,
Hmm.
and requirement analysis phase was very detailed or long spanned as compared to agile approach.
True. That is one thing, which is what we read. I don't know how many of you have experienced it. It is something like this. What I have experienced. So I'll tell you that experience. Maybe I'll use the same diagram like this. So here the diagram is slightly different. Here the diagram is more about stress level. Okay. So this is like your bad stress, okay, and this I'll say stress level very high, and this could be very low. Okay, this is very low. So usually in long waterfall projects, the behavior is something like this. Till you are doing your project, starting up, doing some requirements, design, it will be like this, very nice. Then it will become like this. Okay, as you come close to the project and delivery, the risk level or the stress level in the project will become very high. I remember the project that we worked with Nordstrom in US. Our program manager told us, you can't go home. Okay, you be in the office. Okay, so he booked some rooms near the client place so that all of us can go to the hotel for a couple of hours or 3 hours, sleep and come back. It actually happened with one of my another project where something went wrong in the very last stage. After going production, go live, we were leaving the client place at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, that is post midnight, and then coming back to the client place at 7 o'clock in the morning. So we'll just go to the hotel room, eat something, crash for 3-4 hours, again get ready to come back to the client place. One situation, it so happened that we were in the client office for 48 hours. We had no choice because the production system had failed. Okay. And why it happened?
Were you paid overtime?
Huh?
Were you paid overtime?
No.
Really?
There is no concept of overtime and all in software. I don't know. Are you paid overtime anywhere? That will be strange to know. Okay. And it all happened because of this waterfall approach. Because see, in the beginning, we went to this client place, and it was Spain, a very nice country, very nice weather. And the system was not available to us because there was no connectivity between Germany and Spain. So Germany was their headquarters and Spain was the country that was implementing the system. Yes. So what Lachana says, so for 1 month we had nice time. So we visited Madrid. We saw all the historical places in Madrid. All that we did. Okay, nice time. But when the project came to final stage, this is what happened. Because something got missed out. and it was not tested properly until it was put into production. But it's a bad thing. Okay, because the client loses confidence, they lose business. Lots of bad things happen because of your big bang approach. Because you said, okay, I will do everything together, and I took 1 year to do it, and finally when the things come, they don't work. That is why many companies decided that this is a bad approach, because the stress level is very high for everyone. Not only for us, it's the same thing for the client as well. You have put in so much money, so much time, so many people, and finally if the system does not perform, everybody will feel bad about it. Whereas an agile approach allows you to start using a product as soon as possible, maybe with limitations. Maybe it's not complete, but it's still okay. You can always add more features as you go. So that is where people have moved away from this waterfall approach to agile approach, because that allows them to iterate, that allows them to take inputs from stakeholders as they are working. Good. So this is how it happened. But over time, if you observe now, people are demanding that things should be done much quicker. So this is waterfall when it was years. So I can actually put it as this was waterfall. Then it moved to months, which is agile. And now people are talking of days. Okay, and sometimes to even hours. What is this called? Where you do things in a very quick way.
Fragile.
Huh?
Fragile. Agile, not.
It's called DevOps. Okay, that's what many people are talking today. So they're saying that even agile is slow. Okay, their perception is very clear. Why can't I give something to my customers every other day? Do you know there are some websites or applications which get updated every 2 hours? They have production release every 2 hours. I don't remember the company name.
Which are those?
I think websites or applications which have 2-hour release cycle. 2-hour release cycle. Let me see. Something Java schedule 7 ways. 8-hour work release process. Chromium. There are some products I hear which are actually released very frequently, because what they have done, they have been able to master the art of testing the application very quickly, so that, see, why it takes so much time to make sure that a feature can be implemented or not implemented. It's essentially this two. One, when we are looking at a change, so essentially we want to implement a change. We want to implement a change. But the problem is the change can introduce a failure. Okay, which is what we are worried about. Okay, and to make sure that a change does not introduce a failure, we need to do a thorough regression test. Okay, and this is the problematic time, because a thorough regression test can take weeks. So maybe I will be able to make the change within 1 day, but this is 3 weeks. Now, because the slowest process, which is the slowest process among them? In the change or the regression test? It's the regression test, because the change can happen in one day, but the regression test will take 3 weeks. So if there is a way that we can do regression testing in a day, every day, then there is no problem. Okay, this is where the challenge lies. So if people can actually perform regression testing very quickly, they can actually release many more changes. So to do regression testing every day, you must have a very good test automation done, which is what is lacking in most companies. Now, of course, companies are becoming more proactive in test automation. So unless you have proper test automation, it will be very hard for you to make this kind of a high-speed change. Okay, but people are really doing it. I hear from some of my clients saying that they have moved to DevOps, which allows them to do this kind of a rapid change. Okay, so this is what I was trying to tell, that the old world of long release cycle does not work today, because the world is changing quite fast. Facebook was not there 10 years back. Google was not there 20 years back. Mobile apps were not there 5 years back. Cloud was not there 5 years back. But so many things have come in. So the other thing also happens in a waterfall project is when the product comes to the users, that is the time they start realizing the difficulty in using the product. Okay, I think, I don't know whether Melinda would know. Melinda, do you know an Indian dish called palau? I don't know.
I've heard of it,
You have
but
heard of it?
it's not in my Indian dish repertoire.
Okay, if you get time, do eat. Jamud, you can also try. It's a very nice dish made with rice, and sometimes it will have a non-vegetarian version, a vegetarian version, all kinds of food. So I keep telling
That sounds great, but I live in LA and we don't eat carbs in LA, so can I have it with rice?
Okay. So in this, when somebody is making palau, in their mind, it smells very nice. It looks very nice. Okay. But the moment you actually make it, it does not look that great. Okay. Because thinking and doing are two different things. And unless you use a product, it will be very hard for you to realize what kind of mistakes you are making. It happens with me as well. Like sometimes I will show you an interface we designed and how clunky it looked like. I had to do some change. So I'll just show you that. So now if I go to competency management, this is what you guys have got access to. So we have a page called candidate registration, which is where we register all of you to the program. And then we have this concept here, which is called country city. Now, if I choose the country as US or any other country, okay. So what it would do, you look at it. Okay, you are seeing the bell, dumbbell, then you got this, that these are the major cities in US. So now which user would like to use this? Would they like to wait that this process should complete? Yes or no? Like Melinda is from LA, so I can put it as LA. So the user will get irritated. Why are you making me do this? Okay, but from a thinking perspective, if you say country US, city Los Angeles, looks very logical. Choose the country, choose the city. Okay, but by choosing the country, I am running into this kind of a problem. So now this problem I discovered because we implemented it. Okay, now we know the problem. So then I went back to my developers and I said, hey guys, if I tell you that I'm from Los Angeles, can't you find my country? You can find my country. It's very simple. Okay, so now we are going to remove this country column here and just have a city column, and you just put your city name and it will automatically find out your country and time zone. So these are few things that we have to do in future, because we have to understand in which time zone the person is, and based on that we have to plan our workshops. So these kind of aspects you get to realize only when you use the product. Till you use the product, it will be hard for you to recognize them. Okay. Similar thing happened. Like we have a mandatory registration process. I think some of you might have been exposed to that registration process, and that is needed for physical workshops. When we need to give you a certificate saying Melinda joined the workshop, or Jamud joined the workshop, or Usa joined the workshop. But now people have started buying the question bank. Do you need to register if you buy a question bank? Yes or no?
So you still get to use.
Why would I need your birth certificate or somebody? See, I don't have to prove your identity unless I'm training you and giving you a certificate. If I'm training you, then I have to get an identity done for you, because if IIBA questions, did you take an identity of the person? I have to tell, yes, I did collect. But for a question bank, I don't give you any certificate. You just buy and use the question bank. So then you realize, oh, okay, when it is a workshop, then we need an identity proof. If it is a question bank, we don't need an identity proof. So all these aspects come up only when you start using the product, and that is where iterative way works much better, because as you work, you realize that few things are missing, few things can be improved. So it's good for everybody. The developers are working less in the beginning, and they are making a product which is actually a lot more usable. So, and this is what actually is an assumption, or it's actually true. It's very hard to put all your requirements up front. Even if you have been working in the field for quite some time, it's difficult to anticipate, and sometimes businesses change. Like for example, for us, last year, the physical classroom trainings were a dominant business model. This year, they are not there. So the processes that we followed last year is different from the processes we will follow this year. So we have to get adjusted our systems also to the new way of working. Suppose I am doing a physical classroom. Do I have to bother about WebEx recording, WebEx scheduling? Do I have to do that? No. But for online sessions, we have to do that process. Whereas for a classroom session, we have to worry about food, because we will provide food in the classroom session. So this is what happens. So as you remember, maybe our path was like this, but by the time we complete our path, the whole goal has shifted. So that's why we have to be careful that we are changing our path as we move along. And this is what Agile allows us to do. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to understand what kind of approach will work better for us. And there are a lot of properties or characteristics these approaches have, which we need to take into consideration. So let me take a look. Okay, now coming to the tools, there is a tool called brainstorming. How many of you know brainstorming? I believe many of you would know.
Yeah, I've used it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very simple technique which many people use, which is to think and you discuss. Okay. Business cases and financial analysis I will do in strategy. Sometimes I feel Babak has really gone overboard on techniques, I really don't think I'm going to use financial analysis when I'm doing my approach. It's very unlikely, but Babak says, so I'll go with it. Even business case also, I don't think I will use it here. So, but anyway, it's there. So these two techniques we will discuss in strategy. Functional decomposition. This could be helpful more in planning, but anyway, they have put it in approach. What is functional decomposition? Anyone?
Breaking the functions or breaking the features into smaller functions so that they can be analyzed and then taken care of more specifically.
Very good. It's basically divide and rule. Okay. If you can divide things to smaller aspects, it's easier for you to do it. Like I just showed you the planning part as well just now, like we saw. If I saw this one, if you look at it, what we have done is a functional decomposition. So once you have a functional decomposition, it's easy for you to plan, easy for you to track, easy for you to estimate. Okay. In fact, WBS is also functional decomposition. Okay. But functional decomposition or decomposition can happen on many aspects. It's not only deliverable, it can be some other aspect also. Like if you have a problem, maybe you can divide the problem into different areas. That we have a problem in the product, but it could be due to UI, it could be due to architecture, it could be due to reporting. So you can divide the problem into many areas that you would like to attack. So dividing something allows you to attack better. Interviews, again, we will do it in elicitation. It's a good technique to talk to stakeholders. Item tracking we saw. Lessons learned is something that we do quite often, and we should be doing quite often, is to understand what went well, what can be changed. That is what is part of lessons learned. Process modeling, I think many of you would know, which is again part of BPMN. So maybe so many of you are interested in BPMN. So maybe I'll take a little couple of minutes to show you a tool which I use quite often, and it's a very nice tool. You can download it free from internet as well. So this is called Bizazi Process Modeler. So let me start that. Just give me a second. It'll start. It just takes a little time to start. 1 second, Prasanna. I will do one small thing. I think over time the audio gets a little bit troublesome, so I'll reconnect. 1 second. One second. Where is that one? Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
I know the problem now.
Okay.
I think what happens is when you do a long session on WebEx, once a while I think you should disconnect the audio and reconnect. The Microsoft problem. Okay. Like we always tell, na, if a software is not working, what is it that you should do?
If the software is not working, you start it.
Yes. Restart. Okay, so that's the most common troubleshooting technique that you can follow.
Okay.
Okay, so now coming to this concept of process modeling and BPMN. BPMN is a standard created by an organization called OMG. So if you go to the website, which is omg.org, and in fact, I would request all of you to spend little time on this company or institute's website. They have a lot of content which is good for BAs, especially if you see things like in technology, things that would be of interest to you would be BPMN. What would be interest to you would also be UML. UML, where is UML? One second, where is UML here? Model driven. I'm not surprised. UML is not there. UML is also from them. Maybe it is hidden somewhere. I have to figure it out. Maybe UML is very popular, so they took it out from here. So BPMN is from this organization called OMG, and there are a lot of resources available as well. The other place you can get a lot of inputs is this called bizazi.com. That's where I downloaded the software. Not abiz, it's just plain bizazi.com. Okay. So there are plenty of discussions on what is BPMN, all that concepts are there. So if you go to products, you can get the product downloaded, and you also have a lot of learning component here, especially those of you who are interested in learning BPMN in great detail. So if I just go down, okay, Bizazi, there is a free course. Go to the e-learning site. Okay, so there is this certifications, and there is a free certification on BPMN. So I would suggest if you have little time, you can spend a little time and get yourself certified. So Bizazi professional certification. It says something. I don't know from where it got this number 497015. Okay, let me try a name. I don't think I would remember the password. This is one challenge that I have, but let me try. By chance I remember. Okay. I think forgot a password. I'll do that. So let me just put my password here. Don't worry, I think you can always do this, and I would suggest all of you can create an account on this website and then download the software, and there are a lot of good learning videos available on the website as well. So maybe I will cover the tool next class, because at least you will get a little time. So please take it as a small homework for yourself to get the tools installed and go through a couple of very basic videos on BPMN, and next class I will show you how to draw a good model using this tool. Okay. So I think maybe people would time out. They would have some other meetings. Do you have any question at this point in time for me?
Not from my side.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, Lakshman here. So we started the first one, which is BA planning, and how far have we finished BA planning? Are we done halfway through?
Maybe we'll do it. I should be able to complete the activities next week. Typically, planning takes a little more time in terms of content. Elicitation is shorter. Requirements lifecycle management is shorter. Requirements analysis and strategy analysis are again bigger.
Okay.
some
we are
topics are
about
little
more than-
smaller, some topics are little bigger. But don't worry.
Yeah.
See, I'm
So we
not
haven't
worried if I
finished-
have to spend a couple of hours more.
Yeah.
That's not at all an issue for me. But we should be going at a pace which you guys understand and you don't have any doubts in your mind.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think maybe Ekta had some things. She had told me that she has some other commitment, so she probably has to leave. So maybe I can stop here today. It's almost.
So Ellen, next week on Friday, I have to be in office, so I may not be able to make it to this meeting. So, but I'll be like, I'll go through the recorded session
Sure.
and I will get back to you on Saturday
Sure.
if I have any questions.
Yeah. And anyway, I would keep some time on the last session for any doubt clearing. So that time itself, if you still have some doubts, you can ask me.
Sure. If I'm actually back early, then I'll surely join the meeting. Like I wanted to like update you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question from whatever we have covered today? Varghese, I am not able to hear you.
No, I don't have any question.
Okay, good. So maybe we'll stop here today and we will continue our discussion as per the calendar that is shared with you. So depending on your country, the calendar could be different. So it could be Friday evening or Saturday morning, depending on your location. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.